Okay, let's talk about mounting your track. First, let's talk about how many screws. For a curved track, I like to use just one in the center. That way I can rotate it and pivot it. Remember, this is going to splice to another track and there'll be a screw nearby, so this will be plenty stable. For a straight track, I like to use just 3 screws. Remember, this is netting. You're not holding up Gibraltar, you're holding up netting. So remember, there's going to be a splice that is on the ends of each of these tracks. So I probably want to come in about 6 inches. So if you go in 6 inches, you're going to avoid the splice just fine. So in 6 inches, and then to find the middle, that's about the middle. Okay, this is important. These screws go straight up through the track and into something hard. And if you look at this, it is a very tight fit. Also, you definitely want to pre-drill your holes. You don't want to be trying to just drive a screw straight up through the track when you're up on a ladder. So let's pre-drill these 3 holes. And there's a really cool trick. Go get a McDonald's soda straw. We happen to be using a Starbucks soda straw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this back. What we're going to do here is we're going to create ourselves a little sleeve so we don't nick the side of the track. There, I got myself a little sleeve, and the head of the screw will go through the sleeve just fine. So we'll just get started drilling. Sometimes the head of the bit will want to dance around a little bit. So you could use a nail. I just happen to find the first thing available. And all I'm doing is I'm scoring it so that I have a little bite for my screw. I use my sleeve so I don't nick the track. Put that soda straw down in there. Also, make sure you have a little protection. You don't want to drill into mama's table. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go in about 6 inches. Curve track, soda straw. I'm in the center of the track so I can pivot it. Done. Now when I mount my track, I'm going to start with my curve track. Always start with a curve track and then work your way away from the curve. Because remember, we need a factory cut here and a factory cut here. So before I go and mount this thing, I think what I want to do is I want to put these splices on. You'll see that there's some Allen screws here. So 2 go on this track, 2 will go on that track. So I'm going to take this Allen screw that's provided for you. If for some reason you lose it, it's a 1.5 millimeter. I'm just going to lock this down. Once these are tight, then you can confidently screw in both sides and you know the butt's not going to shift. Okay, let's hang this thing. Okay, so I've taken my screw, I put it in a soda straw as a sleeve to protect the edges of the track. I'm going to put it in the hole here. Take my drill head. Notice I have a drill shaft that's long and narrow. So again, so I won't risk dinging the track, and I know I can get all the way through. Okay, I don't want to quite screw it all the way in because I need a little bit of room to get this track in with the splice. I'll tighten this guy up later. One reason I let this screw loose is so that I have a little bit of play here. So I can easily tighten these boys. And I want my joint real tight. Again, remember, we only splice factory cuts. Okay, so I got my joint nice and tight. Yeah, so I'm going to put this middle screw in. And I just need to go in just enough to hold it. That one's in and my joint's good. I'm just going to keep working my way down. This is a track length. Remember, we're going to come to this end with a right angle. And there needs to be a gap. I like to cut my track as I go. That way I can see that it's going to work. And I don't have to guess whether my measurement's right or if I have math errors right. I have my gap. I mark it like that. So now we're going to cut the track with an ordinary hacksaw. I made my mark, and now I cut. Anything that you cut with a hacksaw gets an end cap. This will hold an end cap just fine. This is a little 5-foot track. So again, I'm going to go in 6 inches. Okay, so I've field cut my track. I've got my gap. That's perfect. I'm making sure that's the factory cut. That's my cut. And put it in the splice. Get my joint tight. So we're going to tighten up our joint. This is a 12-foot side. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to put 2 8-foot tracks together. It's going to be a 16-foot track. I'm going to hold it up, mark it, and cut it. So the most important thing is, while it's down here, I need to get my joint right. Okay. We got a good tight joint. But I don't have to worry about being wrong on any math. I can butt it up there. I can bring it over here to my 2-inch gap. And mark it. Okay, so what's important is we need a gap on any given segment. Our gap is going to be at the right angle. So I can go ahead and abut this to the wall. Before I start, I'm just going to put the end cap on.